Well, greetings and welcome to the Dividing Line on a rather cool day here in Phoenix. Normally a couple days after we have weather here, y'all back east get really bad weather, so be warned. It's been windy the past couple days and might not make 70 here today, which by next week is going to be a 95, so 68, that's what we're saying. Mine's still saying 70, but anyway, I'm not complaining. It hasn't been this cool since the end of January. Anyway, I hope you have access to a Bible. Those of you who maybe have learned Greek or studied Greek or have a Greek New Testament or have Accordance or Logos or Bible Works or Olive Tree. By the way, warning to my fellow olive tree using preachers. He who lives by technology dies by technology. I was 20% of the way into my sermon on Sunday morning in Luke 24. And I had my iPad 4, and I had a double window open. So I had the NESB and I had the Greek. Not a good idea. Just telling you now. If you're gonna have to be scrolling, close that second window. But put it down at the bottom. Don't let anything be there. Because this has happened before, and this time I'm right in the middle. I'd already read the text, but I was right in the middle of a sort of a second read through, making a point. Choked. Died. And all of my notes, with all of my references, are in that program. Somehow, I immediately popped over to Accordance to finish the reading, but I somehow reset the whole iPad and got it all working again. But just a warning. Just he who lives by technology dies by technology. And everybody going, yeah, this should have been using a Bible, real Bible. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, I wouldn't mind doing that, but then the notes would have been huge. And then what happens when you lose your notes, At worst come to worst, I would have had my notes here. That's one other nice thing about that. So, but anyhow, the real trick was getting through all that without anyone noticing it. 1 John 3:1. 1 John 3:1. I want to address some textual issues today. I appreciate the mostly kind things that have been said about the program that we did last week. You might want to pray for Rich today. He's still sick, and in fact is on death's doorstep in the other room. But he's dragged himself in here and brought his IVs along with, and a couple doctors and nurses, and a glass of
Rooibos.
Coffee.
Rooibos.
Oh, you got tea. Okay.
Yeah,
right.
it's Rooibos. Hey, when you're sick
that
like
probably
this,
helps when you're in this condition.
This is respiratory, baby. The only cure for that is tea.
Okay, all right, gotcha.
Chicken soup, of course.
I'm mouth reading you at the moment because I don't have my. Why should I? I'm not going to be playing anything. And the only other thing I have to hear is you.
So listening to me is completely out of the question. Okay, I get this.
Anyway, right. So I appreciate. I was just about to do some more rowing when Jeff Durbin texted or put on Facebook, "Hey, come over here, we'll do it." And I started thinking, I thought, yeah, all right, it's on the other side of the valley, but he offered Mexicans. So, and then I didn't know, but Summer and Thad and Clementine and January came over afterwards, so I got to see the fam, and it was great. So we did that. It was put out in a timely manner, and obviously, there are many folks didn't appreciate what I had to say. I get that, but most folks were extremely encouraged by it, and that's great. I want to do a little follow-up. There are some folks, and look, I realize there's no end to this, and so, especially amongst folks for whom this is a extremely minority, very small, but theological thing for them. I realize nothing that I say, they're just going to have to You know, they're going to have their say. I'll have mine. You make up your minds as to what to do with it. But there are some folks that like to, when you disappear like that, coughing like that, I'm expecting to see legs go up in the air, and if I see feet go up in the air, and then I know that hopefully you've at least left the microphone on, and so we can at least get through the end of the program. Whether you'll survive that long or not, you know, we have to have our priorities.
I have my cell phone in case I need to call an ambulance.
Okay. Yeah, don't bother calling mine. It's on silent. We've got our priorities here, man. Anyway, we can't have two dividing lines in a row that are, you know, that's not possible. Anyway, I want to point something out. I do firmly believe that ecclesiastical textism is a human tradition. It's utterly indefensible and is a gross misrepresentation of the Reformed faith. I really do. I think it's a retreat, it's anachronistic, it's incoherent, and it's indefensible. All right? Pretty clear about that. All right? And there are certain people who just every once in a while have to come out and throw darts my direction, and then when I face them, it's like, hey, debate somebody your own size. You know, I'm and then they start quoting this person over here. It doesn't actually take their position, and this person doesn't really take their position at all, cobbling all this stuff together, and it's a little scary to me. To see some of the stuff that's being put together, and I'm going to be looking at Paul Barth because he put together an article. It's scary to me. It looks like a lot of the King James only stuff out there. It really does. It's not King James only, but it's starting to partake of the same kind of I will cobble anything I have to put together to defend my position type stuff, and that shouldn't be what Reformed people are doing. It's frightening to me. But I wanted to address this one text even before all this stuff started happening. Oh, by the way, remember